Imagine walking into the office on Monday. On Friday, you were part of the team, and on Monday, you are their manager. The same people, the same desks, but suddenly everything feels different. You've been promoted, you've proven yourself, but now you are suddenly managing the people who just yesterday were your peers, maybe even your friends. And here is the challenge. That dynamic changes everything. What felt natural before, whether it be grabbing a coffee, sharing frustrations, working side by side, venting about a client, now it comes with a different kind of weight. And whether you like it or not, you are now the boss. So last week we talked about managing or having a difficult boss and how you manage that situation. Today, we're talking about how to manage former peers without losing your authority or how to build your authority. So when you start leading people who used to be your peer, three things usually show up. This is what I see most often with my coaching clients. The first one is that things become really awkward. There's like these awkward moments, the relationship feels awkward, and conversations that used to be easy now feel like loaded. Do you still go for drinks after work? Can you join in some of the small talk? Are they interpreting everything you say as the boss's opinion? I mean, the line between colleague and manager can feel very, very blurry. So it is uncomfortable for everyone, not just for you, but also for them. The second challenge that I see come up most often is testing boundaries. There's probably some former peers who are really excited that you got the job. I remember once, I just have to tell the story because it warmed my heart. I was leading an international business unit, and we had a question about who we should promote to lead a country. And we thought about it and about, do we promote internally? Do we hire from outside? And we decided to promote internally. And when I announced it to the team that their former peer was actually taking over as manager of the country, they applauded. They literally applauded, and they were so excited. And I still remember that. It's one of my favorite management moments, we'll call it like that. But that doesn't always happen. I think, yes, there are going to be some people that if you were formerly a peer and now you're their boss, they're actually thrilled for you. And they're going to cheer you on, and they're going to help you. There will be others that are going to be upset, maybe even jealous, maybe disappointed. You have to let those people have their feelings. But what is going to happen is you're going to have people who are going to test boundaries. So and a lot of times I find that people will kind of test that the old relationships and things that worked as a peer, they still want to test it out and see if you're acting the same now that you're the boss. They might push deadlines or question decisions or expect special treatment. That can put you in a really tough spot. So you have to also draw some lines early. And that's what I'm going to talk about in a minute, is different strategies. And I would say the third challenge that I see is you're going to be uncomfortable. It's like you are going to feel really uncomfortable, and that's life. You have to learn to live with that discomfort. However, you will need to address it because you don't want to come off as arrogant. But keep in mind that you got that job for a reason. The company believed in you. They believed in your skills and your capabilities to lead that team. That's what you need to work on. So that's the first thing I want to talk about, is the mindset shift. Okay. When you get promoted and all of those relationships that you had with those people, those relationships don't go away, but the context does change. And so you can't keep those relationships the same in that context. It just doesn't work. So the goal is to redefine those relationships in a way that honors both your history and your new responsibility. And so how you think about it really matters. You absolutely cannot stay stuck in wanting to still be part of the team, because simply put, you are no longer part of the team. You are leading the team. So you can't hesitate and downplay your role, because you're going to miss opportunities to do your job and do what is expected of you. So if you simply, and I say simply, it's not necessarily easily, but embrace the reality that this is a new chapter for you and for them. It's not a betrayal of the past, but just admit that things are evolving, that things are different, and you have the right to be there, because so much guilt comes when you are promoted and somebody else in the team wasn't. So step into your authority knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable. So the mindset shift also that really helps is it's just going to be different. Those relationships are going to change. The context is different. And so it's an opportunity to build new, stronger relationships. So I want you to think about it as like being a player on a team, whether that be, let's say, a baseball team. And everybody used to be on the same playing field, but then you're actually promoted captain. So you're still on the team, but your responsibility is different. And yes, everyone is going to be looking at you, and probably everybody is going to be criticizing you. That is part of the job. So just keep in mind that you don't have to prove that you are the boss. You are already the boss. You got that promotion for a reason. Your company gave you that job because they felt that you were capable. So now your task is to act in a way that reinforces your authority, but still be human. So I want to talk to you about 6 strategies that you can try. So the first one is simply to acknowledge the shift. Acknowledge it with the people that you used to work with. Don't pretend that nothing has happened. And a simple conversation like, I know it feels different. It's awkward for me. We've worked side by side for years, and now I'm in a new role. My goal is to make this a positive transition for all of us. Something like that goes a long way. Naming it removes an awkward silence. So you don't want to have any elephants in the room. The second strategy is you're going to need to set expectations early. Boundaries are cleanest when they are set early and communicated. Be very clear about what is expected, not in a heavy-handed, I'm the boss, I'm with this big ego kind of way, but in a way that says, this is how we're going to succeed together. If you leave it vague, people will fill in the blanks with their own assumptions. And often it's not necessarily ways that support you. And one of the ways, for example, that I did this at one point in time is like I had expectations about the way that meetings were run. I did not want people, I did not want people coming late to meetings, and I wanted an agenda. And we started on time and we ended on time. So at that point in my career, when I went from being one of the team and I did not like the way that my boss was running meetings, when I took over that job, I did it differently. And I set those expectations early. The third strategy is before that you got promoted, you probably had some friendships. And now you're going to have to be really sensitive to being fair and treating people with fairness. In this situation, you cannot play favorites. Even if you used to be closer to some people than others, your credibility in this job comes from treating everyone consistently and similarly. So when people see that you are fair, that's when their respect for you grows. They might not like the decisions, and that is okay. You are not there to be liked. You are there to move the needle in the company. The fourth strategy is to redefine how you connect. So if you were going out regularly, if you were going to lunch regularly with everyone, I would question those behaviors. You do need to recalibrate how you are connecting on a personal level with those people. Maybe you still join the people at lunch, but maybe skip the drinks after a work day. So choose those points that are going to reinforce trust and not compromise your authority. And whatever you do, please do not get caught up in any kind of gossiping or sharing secrets because you're trying to build your network. Please do not do that. So that was just a parenthesis. Number 5, you need to stand tall in your decisions. So your authority is going to erode if you hesitate. If you waffle and make a decision, then go back on it, or you're not clear why you made that decision, people are going to start to question very quickly if you can handle the job. So you don't need to know everything. Like I said, this whole podcast is about taking on new roles and the challenges and how you can overcome those challenges. So be aware that there's going to be challenges, but at least make decisions early and stand by them. Yes, you can always change a decision at some point, but do not hesitate. You can lose weeks of credibility on a topic if you are hesitating, if you are pushing off making a decision. And I think personally, one of the things that helps your credibility the most in those early decisions is making the tough decisions that your boss or whoever was there before didn't want to make. And point number 6 is you can, of course, leverage your insider knowledge. You know the culture, you know the politics, you know the personalities, you know what makes people thrive, you know why they're motivated or why they might be struggling. So the idea isn't to erase all that. That's knowledge that you have. If you've been working with these people for a while, you can't just forget it. But you can use it also to reinforce your empathy. I get where you're coming from because I've been there too. I get it. I understand it. I know what you're talking about. Done well, something like that really builds trust, but you're still signaling that you are the new authority. So those strategies, it's not about being somebody else, but they're about evolving into being the leader of a team where you were a player before. And again, I'll just say it, that your organization needs you to step up. So I would love for you to ask yourself, when you are promoted and you are managing former team members, what dynamic are you clinging to that is no longer serving you? What is one small behavior that you can shift this week to reinforce your authority without sacrificing authenticity? That is the key. Maybe it's a conversation to reset expectations. Maybe it's standing firmer in a decision, or maybe it's simply pulling back from maybe a dynamic that no longer fits in the position that you're in. So as we close out here, this is an uncomfortable thing. It is uncomfortable, and that's just life. And the more you learn also to live with uncomfortable, the stronger a leader you'll become. And just remember, it's uncomfortable for your team too. You're not the only one trying to figure out how to work with them, what the dynamic's going to be like. They're also in that same discomfort. But navigating through the discomfort is one of the most powerful leadership skills that you can develop. So if you can navigate this with authority and fairness, you're not just proving that you can lead that team, but it's also showing that you're ready for bigger opportunities where authority and influence matter. So if you are in this situation right now and you want some kind of structured support to help you step fully, because I found, and maybe I should just end this by saying that it's usually based on my experience and what I hear with my clients and what we work on, it's usually one person that is the real issue. And it's usually that person who wanted the job that you had. And there's either lack of self-confidence, or they lack the skills, or they lack some kind of self-awareness. So it's usually one person. And there are so many different strategies and things and ways to work with somebody in that situation. And that's exactly what I help my clients with. So don't hesitate to reach out if you're looking for support and want to navigate this kind of change brilliantly. I am there to help. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.